Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am Jonah here with the Discover team, and we are very excited to have Rosemary Groner here today. Before we really get going, I just want everyone, if you can pop into the comments, let us know if you can hear us all right, if you can see us all right. Feel free to chime in too. Let us know where you're coming from. We often get people from all over the world, so it's really fun to hear where you're coming from, what you're tuning in for. Feel free also to share if there's anything you're excited to learn today. I know I always chronically suffer with keeping my home clean, so I'm excited to hear some of the tips Rosemary has. Um, as we're getting going and you all start letting us know that we can be heard and seen, I do want to set just a couple expectations for today. If Rosemary is moving too fast or you miss anything or have to go to the bathroom, feel free, don't worry. We're going to send a replay to you after the event, and it'll also be available on these links in the YouTube or on the Discover Course event page. And if you have any questions throughout, feel free to ask them, but we will also have a dedicated Q&A at the end. So if you can hold on to them, that'll be the time to handle them. Rosemary, just to give a proper introduction, today we are going to be learning why your house is trashed and how to fix it for good with no extra time. The topics we're going to cover are the only 3 chores that actually matter and a faster way to get your house in order, taking into consideration your own personality. Little introduction for Rosemary. Rosemary spent her entire life chronically disorganized. She worked as a state trooper with an unprecedented schedule, long hours, and mandatory overtime. But everything changed when she finally got smart and started working with her personality instead of against it. She learned how to hack cleaning, meal planning, and budgeting to get the same results with much less effort. Rosemary learned how to automate most of the things that she didn't love doing and learned how to incentivize herself to stick with it long term. Rosemary reduced her spending by $23,537 a year, paid off her debt, ditched the housework fights, kept the house clean, quit her job to stay home with her babies, and started a blog that has served over 10 million people in the last 4 years, learning how to escape the paycheck to paycheck cycle, even if they suck at budgeting. Rosemary, I'm very excited to hear what you have to show us today. And without further ado, I would love to hand it over to you.
Awesome. Thanks. All right. Let me share my screen. Yeah, there. Perfect. Okay, guys. Hey. So the first thing I want to tell you, this is for you if you currently struggle with keeping up with your house while balancing all of the other responsibilities in your life. And if you need an easy solution that's not going to take time away from the other goals you're working on, like losing weight or saving money. Real quick, can you just type into the comments, what do you struggle with the most in the running of your home? Is it budgeting, meal planning? I just kind of like to keep my eye on the comments as I go through this to tailor this a little bit more to where you are right now. The other thing I want to tell you is to stay until the end because we are giving out a special bonus. We're going to give you guys Why Your House is Trash, which is the workbook, in addition to the simple home management cheat sheets. And the other thing I want to tell you is that some of what I'm going to teach you in here is the foundation unit of Hot Mess to Home Hot Mess to Home Success, which is our comprehensive program that teaches you how to work with your personality to tackle your house. So we're going to learn a couple of things today. We're going to learn the only 3 chores that really matter. We're going to learn the easiest way to transform your home from trash to clean and company ready. And we're going to learn the number 1 hack to keeping the house up without spending any time on it. So in case you haven't heard of me before, like Jonah said, I was a state trooper for about 9 years. I worked constantly changing schedule, mandatory overtime, super long hours. This is my husband, John. When we first got married, we were constantly fighting about money in the state of the house. Who spent the money? Who was making the mess? Who wasn't cleaning it up? It got so bad in our first year that we were actually wondering if we made a huge mistake. Good news is we did not make a mistake. Every time we tried to fix it, though, we failed. We would do great for a couple of days, at best a couple of weeks, but then we would be right back to where we were. And a lot of times we would end up worse than where we were when we first started. So everything changed. It was New Year's Eve, many, many years ago, when I realized that I had been setting the same ridiculous resolutions for like 12 years. I mean, every single year, I'm like, I'm going to change. I'm going to like stick to a budget. I'm going to pay off all of our debt. I'm going to keep our house clean, and I'm going to get organized this year. And every single year I would do it. That was the year that I was like, this is really dumb. Like, I'm going to stop trying to change who I am, and I'm going to start working with who I like, my actual personality, the personality that I have, which is a little bit impulsive, sometimes a little bit lazy. And everything changed from that moment on. It felt like it changed immediately. In actuality, it took a little bit more time, but just within that first year, we were able to reduce our spending by over $23,000 a year. And I want you to keep in mind that this is after 12 years of me trying and failing to be good at budgeting. I was able to quit my job to stay home, and I made up my salary working from home, running a home daycare. We paid off our debt of over $30,000. And at that point, I started teaching others to do the same. So I started Busy Budgeter because I was so excited about all of the changes that I was seeing in our house, and I wanted other people to know about them. What I found out was that apparently we're attracted to our opposites, because all of my friends are really naturally organized. Like, this stuff was really easy to them. And for me, I'm like, could not shut up about it. And so I started the blog thinking, if I could just find one other person like me that's excited about this stuff, that would be amazing. Well, it turns out there's a lot of somebodies. At this point, we've served over 18 million readers. So the first thing I need you to understand is that it is not your fault. Like, modern society, women's place in modern society is pretty nuts. We are really expected to do it all. We're expected to be equal income earners. We're expected to have Pinterest birthday parties, to still date our spouses when we've been married for 5, 10, or even 20 years, still look great, and keep our house gorgeous. And the fact of the matter is, you cannot do it all. You cannot do it all does not mean like try harder. It means you cannot do it all. And these are ridiculous expectations that no one is able to really manage. But that doesn't mean that we can't have nice houses. That doesn't mean that we can't do a lot of these things, but it means that we need to change the way that our expectations run. So if you can pop into the comments, if you work at home, if you stay at home, or if you work outside of the home. And then I'm going to tell you that there are only 3 chores that actually matter. If you do nothing else, and I mean nothing, just do these 3 things. It's 15 minutes a day for all 3. And that is going to be, I want you to write this down: schedule, dishes, and laundry. Those have the single greatest impact on your home. If you do nothing else, these are the only 3 things that matter. A lot of my job, particularly in Hot Mess to Home Success, is getting students to get out of their own way. So what happens is they have a little bit of success and they're like, I'm going to clean all the things. And it's my job to be like, no, you're not. You're going to do your dishes, your laundry, and your schedule book. And once that becomes ingrained in you, where it's just as commonplace as going to the bathroom or taking a shower, that's when we start organizing the other things. So schedule, dishes, and laundry. Let's tackle these a little bit at a time, because there's definitely a way that you can do this to make it easier on yourself and more successful. With dishes, our goal is to do 1 load a day every day. If you have more than 1 load, I want you to hand wash large items like pots and mixing bowls. And I do not want you to be afraid of paper. If you need to, just switch to paper for a few weeks as you get used to tackling the dishes every day. These are learned behaviors. It's called skill building. When you get good at doing the dishes and it takes you 3 to 5 minutes a day to complete them, that's when it's going to be easy to make this a habit. Paper lets people who have large families, who make a ton of dishes when they cook, looking at you, it gives them a chance to let their skills catch up to where they are. It gives them a chance to take a break and do a little less dishes while they get used to that habit. The other thing I want to tell you is that dishes take a whole lot less time than you think. It used to seem like this huge chore to me, but they seriously take me less than 5 minutes a day now. When the dishwasher is empty in the morning, I leave my dishwasher exactly like this, like completely open. So as I'm making breakfast or the kids are eating breakfast, everybody knows to just rinse their dish in the sink and then stick it right in the dishwasher. So when it's like this, I could just add to it as I go. Now here's the secret. Hand washing a mixing bowl takes just a few seconds, and it's so easy when it hasn't been sitting in a sink all night. So what you need to do is, if you are creating more dishes than you can wash in one load, then I want you to remove the things like pots and pans and a mixing bowl and wash everything that's small. So like cutlery, like knives and bowls and plates and things like that, put all those to the dishwasher and then hand wash the larger things. It takes about the same amount of time to hand wash a fork as it does a mixing bowl. Believe it or not, we A/B tested this. So it's easier to hand wash those 3 large things than run a second load, which is going to take you a couple extra hours. So one thing I want to tell you real quick is that listening to this stuff is all great, right? But unless I can get you to actually do it, none of this is going to help you. So I want you to commit to taking action right now. I want you to type the words, I am leaving an empty sink tonight, into the chat box and commit to taking action on this. Then let's tackle laundry. So our goal with laundry is just to wash the clothes you dirtied yesterday. That's it. 1 load a day, every single day. So average reader's laundry pile looks like this picture on the left, right? And average reader's clothes that they wore yesterday looks like this picture on the right. So what happens is people get into what we call this binge and purge cycle, right? They do lots and lots of laundry. They catch up on a day and then they take off a few days because they're like, that was awful. And I don't want to spend the rest of my life doing laundry. When we switch into this mode of washing 1 load a day every day, this is a lot easier. So the secret to this is that if you have a giant pile like this on the left, I want you to wash the clothes that you washed yesterday. For an average family of 4, that's like 4 pairs of pants, 4 shirts, 4 underwear, maybe 1 or 2 bras, socks, that kind of stuff. And then I want you to fit in as much of this extra stuff as you can and then catch up over time. So fun fact, this picture on the left is actually a picture of my laundry room after we did a 5-week tour, like a speaking tour. And we took all of our own laundry. Like we didn't do laundry on the road. It was insane. And I caught up on this slowly over time, just washing the stuff that we wore yesterday and fitting in as much extra stuff as we could. And it took me about 3 weeks to catch up, and then it was all done. My laundry pile is almost never anything more than just yesterday, right? That's the goal that we want to get to. When you have a system for laundry, when you just put it in the morning and switch it in the afternoon and put it away at night, or we can tweak that to your working schedule, laundry again becomes a no-brainer, like going to the shower or going to the bathroom. It just becomes one of these normal routines that you do every day. One thing I can tell you is to plan ahead. Laundry, you don't have to stand there and stir it, but you do need to think ahead about when you're going to have time to do it. That prevents what we call the moldy laundry incidents. So when you put it in and you know that you're not going to come back and switch it, you just stick it in the washer because you're optimistic, but then you don't check it and then you have moldy laundry. That's bad. So one of the things I want you to think about is, can you start the wash before you go into work, before you leave? And think about the potential problems for that. Well, yes, I could, but then I have to switch the washing machine to the laundry or to the dryer. And then the dryer is already filled with clothes that I didn't finish yesterday. So the secret is, just like the dishwasher, leave the laundry empty in the morning. It should be reset every night. So in the morning, there's no big deal to shove clothes in there and press the button. It literally takes like a half a second. And secret, I actually load my clothes the night before. So like we don't even have laundry baskets in the family anymore. Well, we do in our laundry system, but we don't keep them in our rooms. When everybody takes their clothes off at the end of the day, everybody brings them to the washing machine and literally puts them right in. Now, when you get home, so your routine is going to depend on when you go to work. So this is my 8-year-old, and I have him trained so that when he comes home from school, he takes the clothes that are in the washing machine out of the washing machine and into the dryer. Anything that's specialty items, and I'm the only one in the family with specialty items like silk or things that shouldn't be washed, those go in a little separate pile that I keep in my closet. So they never really enter the laundry system until I deal with them on a Sunday. But he switches the clothes from the washing machine to the dryer, and then he knows how to press the start button. That's it. And then after dinner, I go in there and I fold clothes, and you can either put them away or you can train the kids to put their own clothes away. There's a lot of different options depending on what your work schedule is, but planning ahead is going to help this a lot. One thing I want to help you problem solve is that if you have a large laundry room, but you don't want to put them away every day, and I don't mean like a large, pretty laundry room. This is very common when people have their laundry in their basements where there's like a lot of space. They don't care what it looks like, but maybe they're in a townhouse. Maybe there's like multiple levels. The bedrooms are far away. It's kind of ridiculous to walk up and down stairs all day, every day, just to put like one pair of pants away for each kid. So one of the things that I want you to think about is a 5-basket system. A 5-basket system is for a family of 4. If you have 5 people in your family, you just need an extra basket, so it'd be 6. And what that is it's one basket for every member of your family, plus an additional basket for towels, other and miscellaneous. So as you do your 1 load a day, instead of putting them all away, you just fill the baskets of the appropriate person, right? So John's clothes go into John's basket, my kids' clothes go in my daughter's basket, et cetera, et cetera. Then at the end of the week, on a Sunday, Saturday, whatever your day is, you can just go ahead and put all those clothes away in one fell swoop. Or better yet, starting at the age of probably about 6, train your kids to put them away for you. You can probably, with a responsible kid, start this at 5, possibly 4, but by 6, it's definitely, they should be doing this. Now, if you don't have a washing machine, I do want to give you one hint. Capsule wardrobes are life-changing. Capsule wardrobes are not like what you see in the magazines where they're like, we took this $200 skirt and you can wear it 7 different ways. That's not what I mean. Capsule wardrobes just means that all of your tops interchange with all of your bottoms. So you don't need like the purple and pink sweater that goes with the pink skirt, anything like that. Like, this is particularly helpful with kids' clothes. Jeans or jean shorts and a t-shirt. They're long sleeve for the winter, short sleeve in the summer. Done. And everything goes with everything. So if you do capsule wardrobes, that lets you do a once a week drop off at a laundry. You can either do grab and go laundry, which usually starts about 99 cents a load where they fold it for you. Or you can drop it off, switch it, run errands in between, and then come home and fold and put it all away. One of the things you're going to run into, though, is that some days you're just not going to want to do that. Like, you just don't have the motivation to fold laundry. It doesn't really matter. And one of the things I want to tell you about that has been hugely successful for us is temptation stacking. Temptation stacking is life-changing. And what it does is it takes something that you love doing, and the only time you're allowed to do it is when you do the thing that you have to do, but you don't really want to do it. So in this case, I have a severe love of trash reality TV. This is a Bachelor in Paradise, Dylan and Hannah, shout out. And so what I've done is the only time that I'm allowed to watch trash reality TV is when I fold laundry. And I'm going to sound crazy until you do this for yourself, but what it does, it switches something in your brain. So instead of like, I have to fold laundry, it's like, I get to fold laundry. And it's like, I look forward to it all day. I'm like, yeah, I could go for some laundry right now. And this is something that is so accessible right now. Now, what I don't want you to do is drag all of the baskets out to the living room and do it in front of the TV, because that's going to take 3 hours. You're not going to get anything done. Everybody pretty much, most people have smartphones right now, or some way, like a tablet, something in the house that you can play some sort of Hulu or Netflix on. Just prop that up on the washing machine right there, and then just get it done right there. I use a stool, like something that I got in a yard sale or something. I keep a stool right in my laundry room so I can just pull it out if I want to sit down while I do it, and then fold right on top of the washer. So one of the problems that runs up when people hear about this is like, listen, that's great, but there's no place to put the clothes. Like, our closets are stuffed, our closets are, our dressers are overrun. That's all great. I get that. But here's the thing. This is not a today problem. This is not where we're going to start. We're going to tackle all of that. But for right now, don't worry about that. It counts. You putting the clothes away counts when it gets into the bedroom of the person who has it. Now, readers have solved this in different ways. They put the basket in the room. They've put a pile in the corner. They've shoved it into already overstuffed drawers. I really don't care about this. Unless we tackle the foundation and we learn the foundational habits that are going to get you to be able to start making progress in your house, those closets and dressers are never going to get clean. So let's not worry about that right now. And let's just start the habits, and then we'll tackle this. So with our schedule book, I want to tell you that you should start with a paper planner. We've A/B tested this so many times. There's a lot of different reasons why. We don't know exactly why. Theoretically, we think it's because when people get into their phones to put something in, they get sidetracked. But for the most part, every single person does better with a paper planner. So unless you have a long history of being successful with an online calendar like iCal or Google Calendar, we're just going to stick with paper. And it doesn't, this is our planner. We have the Home Success Planner. It does not have to be our planner. Any planner will work with our system, any planner. The first thing you're going to do if you're new to schedule books, or if you've never successfully kept one up, is you're going to do a brain dump. You're going to grab a piece of paper. You're going to write down every single thing that's in your head that you're trying to remember. That's from like returning library books, things you have to get from the store, things, dates that are coming up, work changes, anything like that. Put it all down. And then as you put this stuff into your planner, I want you to think ahead. Most things that go into my planner actually have 2 dates. The first date is the actual date of the event. So I'll give Chase's birthday party. Chase is one of my kids' friends. And when Chase's birthday party went into the calendar, there's an additional entry 2 weeks before Chase's birthday party that gives me time and a place to figure out what I need to do to prep for Chase's birthday. So if you have kids, you know that there's 2 questions. One, is it like a family party where siblings are okay? Is it a party where they don't want extra kids, where they're paying per head at like something like the gymnastics academy or something like that? And then 2, if they want me there, or if they just want you to drop off your kid, they don't really need like 30 additional parents hanging around. So in addition to that, this gives me 2 weeks to plan what to buy for Chasey. And what this means is that I'm not running around 5 minutes or 30 minutes before I have to go to Chase's party, trying to buy him a present and filling all of that in between soccer and everything else I'm doing. This means that all I have to do is give myself time and space to plan for that. And now I can order something on Amazon. I can have it delivered. I can have everything ready a week before his party. So the other thing I need to tell you about planning is that empty planner space is a good thing. So we want our planner pages to look like the one on the green check mark on the left, not on the red X day. The problem with the red X day is that when you look at that, there's no prioritization. You have no idea which of those things you wrote down is essential, which of those things you would like to do but isn't really important. The other thing is that when you wake up on that red X day, you've already lost the day. Like the whole day, you're going to be busy the entire day. And at the end of it, like you've got nothing for yourself, right? On the green check mark day, you're like, I can rock this day. So again, we're switching the way that our brains work in the mindset of going like, I have to do all of this to I get to do whatever I want today. And anything that's on a green check mark day, you are definitely getting every single thing you write down done because there's not a lot there. On a red X day, you're not going to get any of that stuff done anyway. So what we do use is we use something called a 15-minute project planner to help us prioritize the projects that we want to get done that aren't time-based. They don't need to be done in this date, but it means that when we have extra time, we can get that stuff done. The other thing I want to tell you is that your planner should have a home. It should not ever move. It should always be in the same location. So I actually keep my planner in the same location as hers. So it's on the corner of my kitchen counter. I want your planner to be somewhere that you're going to walk by it several times a day so that it is nothing to just glance down at it. What we're doing here is we are removing every barrier, every obstacle for you checking that planner every day. You don't have to figure out where it is. You don't have to go get it. You don't have to keep up with it. It is always right there. If you need to, because this usually takes a few minutes for people to kind of adjust to, you can snap a photo of your week if you think that helps. That way, if you're running around and somebody asks you, what your plans are on Wednesday, you kind of know what they are. You can look at the photo. I will tell you this though, I don't do that anymore because one of the best parts or one of the best byproducts of our planning system is that it gives you time to think before you commit to things. So if I'm running around and somebody says like, hey, what are your plans Wednesday? Do you want to do this? I'm like, oh man, I'd love to. Let me check my planner today and I'll text you back. And that gives me time and space to think about it, whether or not this is something that I feel like I have to do. Is this something that I really want to do? Is this the best use of my time? And it gives me kind of like a natural buffer there. The other thing I want to tell you to do is that if you're out and about, like at a doctor's appointment or something like that, and they give you your next appointment date, you don't have your planner. So how's that going to work? The way that you do this is you text yourself a reminder. If you have a smartphone, this is even easier because they all have voice chat. Now, there's a lot of different like reminder apps and notes apps. We have A/B tested a lot of them. This is the easiest way to get the information to your planner. You just text yourself, because nobody ever really texts themselves. Text yourself whatever you need to put in your planner. You can also just say, hey Siri, text Rosemarie Groner and cancel Splash and Dash or something like that. And what this means is that every single morning, all you have to do to update your planner, it takes like less than 1 minute, is just put into your planner anything that you texted yourself yesterday. That's it. That's how easy this is to keep up with. The other thing I want to tell you though is that you can use super sticky notes for portable reminders. Like if you need to, let's just say your spouse usually picks up your kid from daycare after work, but today you have to do it and you want to remember that. I keep this super sticky Post-it notes right on the back of my planner. The whole pad just stays there. It's like stuck to the back pad. And if things like that were to happen, or if I have to remember to pick up milk or something like that, something weird and out of the ordinary, I write it on a Post-it note and then I literally put it on the dashboard of my car, not on the airbag. That's a bad idea. But I put it on the dashboard of my car. And what that does is it's a visual stop reminder of like, oh, that's weird. I got to do that. The reason why we do this instead of using phone alarms is because we've A/B tested this a lot. We use phone alarms very sparingly for anything that you cannot drop the ball on. So when I was a state trooper, I would use it for court a lot, because when I was called to testify in court, like there were some major consequences if I did not show up. I could not drop the ball on that stuff. What we want to make sure that when you hear that phone alarm go off, you are just like, oh my gosh, what was that? Like, I don't want you, if you use it for everything, or even if you use it for a lot of stuff, you kind of become, it becomes less effective, because you're like, well, that could be that, or it could just be like, I was supposed to defrost the meat, or it could be anything. And then it stops being like a thing. And we really wanted to have that effectiveness so that when you use it, you know you're not going to drop the ball on that. The other problem that I'm going to mention is that a lot of people cannot stand screwing up their planner with mistakes. For an aesthetic reason, but also just because you kind of run out of room. Like if you've got a doctor's appointment on Wednesday, they change it to Friday, you have to scratch all that out, move it to Friday, and now like half of your block on Wednesday is done. An easy way to fix this, because your planner is just in one spot, is just to have pens that stay with your planner. So I use friction pens now. You can find them at Target, Walmart, Amazon. Amazon I can usually find the best price on. But what they are is they're tons of colors. They've got really fun colors. They're specifically for planners, and they erase better than pencil. Like they erase really, really well. They are expensive. They're about $1.50 per pen, but they do not last like a normal pen. Like I don't even think I run out of ink on normal pens. I usually lose them first, but friction pens, you can expect to get about a week or two out of them. That's about it. Well, at least with my heavy use, I read a lot. One of the other options that you can use though are pencils. We have pencil sharpeners. Before I switched to friction pens, I kept pencil sharpeners on every level of the house, and I would constantly sharpen pencils. And I mean like the old school, like plug-in automatic ones. Okay, so what always happens at this point of when I'm talking and presenting this is everybody's like, okay, that's great, but I'm not really sure the dishes, laundry, and a schedule book are gonna help this. And they're dealing with like a completely trashed house. And they're like, that's great, I can totally do this. That's not gonna help. Here's the thing I need you to understand with certainty. Cleaning is not going to help that either. You don't have the skills to keep it clean yet. That's my job. I have to get you out of your own way to teach you foundation so that when we do clean this, it's going to stay clean. A lot of times when people are learning about this stuff, we have this mentality of go big or go home, right? Like, this is it. I'm sick of living in a trashed house. Like, this is going to be the moment that everything changes and I'm going to do it different. And then they start organizing and cleaning and doing all of the things. And we call it the trash to untrash cycle. Because after you're done untrashing, you're like, oh my God, my house is still messy. Like, how did this happen? And then you go right back in and you go back and forth. So cleaning is not going to help this. You don't have the skills to keep it clean. What will help it over time is a 15-minute declutter. It's going to take time. It is taking you years to trash your house. It is going to take time to untrash it. But if you do it my way, you will never, ever, ever again have to worry about the house. Just doing the dishes, laundry, and schedule book is going to make you feel so much less stressed around the house because everything else is really aesthetics, right? I don't care if you walk over Cheerio shrapnel in your kitchen every day. As long as your dishes are clear, you can still cook at home. Like, it's not going to, I mean, it's probably not good for rats, but it's not going to change the usability of your house. What happens though is that people get worried about the aesthetics and they don't have these foundation, right? They care about whether or not things look messy, but they don't have these foundational habits that affect everything else. When we do a 15-minute declutter every day, number one, you stop buying things that don't matter. Keep in mind, everything I teach, we got really internet famous here for being able to teach people how to keep their house clean, no matter how trashed it is, no matter how impulsive they are, no matter how chronically disorganized they are. But everything we teach, the actual purpose of it is to control your spending and to be able to live on a budget, right? That's actually what our whole business is about. So number one, when you declutter, you stop buying things that don't matter. I can be in a store now and I'll pick up something and I'll be like, oh, I'm going to grab this. And I can actually see myself decluttering it and throwing it out in like a couple of weeks. Number two, you naturally organize without trying. So this is somebody's like bathroom closet. It's not Pinterest pretty. There's not cute labels and boxes and bins and things like that. It's literally just decluttered. So like kind of goes with like, and it looks neat and clean. You stop buying duplicates. You stop buying scissors and tape every single time you have to wrap a kid's birthday present. And you start picking up after yourself because things have a place. You know, a lot of the overwhelm that comes from this is when you look at your house and you look at all this stuff. It's just like when I asked you to put your laundry away and you're thinking about the overstuffed closets. It's the same thing. When those closets aren't overstuffed, putting the laundry away becomes less overwhelming. When you have to put the laundry in the morning and you know that it's clear, it's a lot less overwhelming to do the laundry. It's the same sort of thing. So what always happens now is people are like, this is all great. I'm so motivated. I'm so excited, but I really don't have time for this. Like, I really don't have time. So here's the secret. You have to limit your time. You have to. There's no other way to do it. There is always going to be more to do in your house. I consider myself to be extremely organized now, and there's still a huge list of things that I want to do in my house. There's always going to be more to do. So what I want to ask you is, what do you actually want to do with your time? If you had extra free time, what would you do? This is my list. It's really sad and pathetic. It should have more exciting things on it, but this is literally my list. Bachelor in Paradise marathons, like watching trashy reality TV, taking really long bubble baths with no purpose, and reading Twilight or some other ridiculous teen drama in the hammock. That's what I want to do. So what I do, how I work with my personality and how you can work with your unique personality is dangling those carrots in front of you, using the things that you want to do, which may look completely different than mine, using the things that you want to do to convince you to do the things that you have to do. So what we do is we spend 15 minutes on dishes, laundry, and schedule book every day. We spend another 15 minutes to declutter every day. And I'm going to warn you right now, if you start getting unmotivated at the 15 minutes of declutter, if that's hard for you, knock that down to 5. You can even knock it down to 2. I just want you to spend a consistent amount of time in decluttering. Decluttering is not considered to be foundation. It's an extra step. If you don't declutter and you just do dishes, laundry, and schedule book, your relationship with your house will change drastically. That decluttering is going to start making things look nicer, but not necessarily change the function of your home, if that makes sense. That's 30 minutes a day total if you do that whole thing. After that, you incentivize your time. And Gemma is, well, she's now a former student. She's already graduated, but Gemma says, I can't get over what a difference it's been just to limit my time working on house chores. I used to spend every spare minute doing something. I never had a break except when I mindlessly procrastinated what I was supposed to do. Now things get done in just a few minutes. My house is cleaner and I actually get to read books. Gemma is not uncommon at all. One of the things that we hear most is, I can't believe how much free time I have. Like, I'm someone that never had free time. I can't believe how much free time I have. And we don't teach this in this training, but it's part of the course. And a lot of that is because we teach you automation. We teach you how to remove yourself from the running of the home without spending any time or money on it, without spending any extra money. I'm not talking about like hiring house cleaners and stuff like that, although that would be wonderful. But what we hear constantly from people is, I cannot believe how much time I have now. So there's a couple of things that I need you to understand as you try to implement this stuff. Why nothing has ever worked for you before. Number one, you have to tackle things in the right order to actually change. Simple routines versus complex routines. You remember me saying that my job is to get students to get out of their own way? This is what I'm talking about. Simple routines are things like automation, schedule book, dishes, and laundry. Simple routines, I can tell you to do the dishes or do the laundry in any trash house and you can complete it. It's not overwhelming, right? You can successfully do the dishes in any condition. If I tell someone to meal plan for the week in any condition, 0% of them will be successful, because meal planning requires a bunch of little things to happen first, right? You have to know when you're going to be eating, how much time do you have to cook dinner? Like, who's going to be eating that day? How much money do you have to buy groceries? Like, what does your schedule look like? All of these things. Is the dishes clear? Do you have the pot you're going to need? All of these things that you need to be successful at meal planning make it a complex routine. Not anybody can just go in and do it. So what happens is complex routines are more like sexy. So when people make New Year's resolutions, they're almost always about complex routines, right? Budgeting, meal planning, cleaning, organizing, all of those cool things that sound really cool and they sound like they're a big deal. Nobody ever makes a New Year's resolution that says, I'm going to do my dishes every day this year. It's going to be amazing. But we want you to do that, because if you can start with simple routines, they're really easy to master. And mastering simple routines means that the complex routines just topple right over. Secret number 2, you must work with your personality in order to make changes. Not the personality you would like to have, the personality that you do have. That means if you're impulsive, that means if you don't have natural willpower, that's not going to change. We need to just accept it and work with what we got. When you're faced with 2 options, you're always going to choose the one that you want in that moment. If I'm looking at kale smoothies and I'm looking at chocolate chip cookies, I will always choose the chocolate chip cookies. It doesn't matter how good that I know that kale smoothie is for me, I want the cookies. And that's okay. So how do we work with our personalities? We incentivize everything. The only way to get what you want is by doing what we need to do. When you incentivize your time, you end up with a presentable house, no housework fights with your spouse, and you get time to yourself. And I want this to be crystal clear, because sometimes people don't get this. That time to yourself every day, you do the things on your home management list and then you stop. And you have to do the things that you want to do. If you do everything that I teach, but you do not incentivize your time and do the things that you want to do, this is not going to be sustainable. Time to yourself is part of foundation, because that switches the way that your brain thinks about this and it makes this a reward. That's super, super important. Number 3, only do the things that matter. How is it possible that your house isn't spotless? It's because you spend 80% of your time on stuff that doesn't matter while you procrastinate the 20% that does matter. I used to make complicated meals trying to menu plan the right way, run errands all the time, clean out and organize projects, catch up on the house, and scroll Facebook just to procrastinate, Instagram, whatever, and then try new systems and then just give up. So once you only do the things that matter and in the right order, the house stays clean and you love visitors. Last minute emergencies don't happen. I can't stop cancer. I can't stop, unexpected deaths. But for the most part, last minute emergencies are not nearly as common as they used to be. You have so much free time. You stop fighting about chores and money. You save a ton of money. And the few things that aren't clean don't affect you and eventually get clean anyway. So a good home management system trains you to run your house on autopilot. And I want you to look at the way that we teach this. So number one is automation. And that is where we remove you from the running of your home for free. And then number two is foundation. We've covered a lot of that today. We go a little bit more in depth. And then meal planning. Now that we've got the dishes under control, now that we know what our schedule looks like with consistency, now we can tackle meal planning, and this time we're going to be successful. Because meal planning is the number one source of grocery spending. Like if we can reduce your grocery spending, your budgeting becomes easy. Now, when we go to tackle budget, you don't have the grocery budget completely out of control, like that's ruining all of your efforts, and that becomes easy. Now we've got all of that stuff under control and that we have a lot of time, we have a lot of progress. All of our other stuff is under control. Now, when we clean, it becomes easy. That is what skill building is like. So we're running a little bit short of time, so I'm going to go through this really quick since I just kind of explained this all. But this is what we teach in Hot Mess to Home Success. We go through each module. The thing that I need you to understand, this is crystal clear. You are your biggest obstacle. You have complete control to change this. You always have. The thing that I spend most of my time with students is teaching them that stop the go big or go home. Stop the trash to non-trash cycles. Just do what I tell you to do in the order that I tell you to do them. And you cannot screw this up because it's so easy. And Kara is a perfect example. Kara is one of our students. She had low income. She had very high stress. Kara had no time to try something new. She's got 2 little babies at home. She was a student at Hot Mess to Home Success. She ended up with a home that was organized. She paid off her debt. She had a credit score of over 700. She started a business and was able to quit her job, and she lost 90 pounds. And we obviously didn't teach Kara how to lose 90 pounds. But the idea is that when all of this other stuff is out of your way, all of the stuff that weighs down your mind every day, it creates a lot of room for you to go after the things that you really care about. And how Solinda changed her life. So Solinda is a student of Hot Mess to Home Success. And after trying and failing so many times, Solinda thought that nothing was going to ever work for her. She ended up with a clean house, less stress, less fighting, and a fully funded emergency fund. And Kimberly, another student, she was a busy mom. The last thing she needed was more things to do. She couldn't do the things that she already was supposed to do. She went through our program and she ended up with a clean house, a better marriage, and guilt-free time to herself. We hear that a lot, guilt-free time to herself. So why did you show up today? I'm assuming you're sick of living in a trashed house. You're frustrated that you're always busy and you're not seeing results. And you believe that there's more to life than just working. You just want to be told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it to actually get and keep your house clean while spending less time, way less time on it. So the question becomes, how do I get the system up and running? Option number one is DIY it. We went over a lot of stuff today. I'm going to be able to give you a workbook and a cheat sheet to go over the stuff that we've covered today so that you can get your foundation up and running no problem. Option number two is you can learn step by step. You can upgrade. You can get Hot Mess to Home Success, which I'm hoping that we have a link that we can share with you guys. But Hot Mess to Home Success, it carries you through each assignment. It's literally, you print out the assignment books. There's video-based training for every single assignment, but it's done for you. So you never have to try to figure out what do I do first? There's tricks to working with personality. There's tricks to working and overcoming roadblocks right in there. So you never get lost and you just always know what's next. And the cool thing about it is that the way we teach it is we skill build it. So the second you start, you automatically get a whole bunch of wins so that it kind of motivation is built into the system so that as you get those wins, it's really easy to do the next assignment because you just can't wait to see what's going to change next time. So Hummus to Home Success is the fastest way to get incredible results with your home and budget without needing to find more time. I do need to tell you, because it's funny, we really got internet famous for being able to get anyone a clean house under any circumstances. But it's actually a budgeting program. Most people don't even know that. But because the end goal is the budget, and because there's no way to be successful at budgeting, to master budgeting without having the behaviors in your life that support your ability to save money, this is the easiest way that we can teach people to master budgeting. But it's kind of got the side effect of having a clean house under really any circumstances. So when you get Hummus to Home Success, you get a proven step-by-step comprehensive path to master each simple skill in the order that works with a ton of A/B testing. The nice thing about 18 million readers now is that we get to test a lot of things to figure out what works for the most people. And then for certain circumstances, here's a couple other suggestions to overcome those roadblocks. You get done for you video-based training. You get detailed workbooks to help you take action. You also get, as a bonus, the Home Success Planner. If you don't already have a planner that works for you, and you're welcome to use your planner with this system, it's nice because it teaches our system within the planner. So it just really, goes seamlessly with it. And then you also get more bonuses. You're getting the home management cheat sheet, the 15-minute project planner. Remember when I talked about the project planner is not filling up your planner with all the things you want to do? The 15-minute project planner is when you plan all those things that you would like to do, but they don't actually have a time-based component. And you get access to a community that gets it. We have a really active Facebook group that's amazing. It's very like-minded people, and they're great A/B testers. And if you get stuck on something that I don't teach, you can reach out to me there so that I can give you advice, or somebody else has been through the training can help. So what you'll create is not a workbook, although you will. The real goal of Hummus Home Success, what you're actually getting is a clean, calm home that you love, a better marriage where you're not fighting over who's doing the dishes and who's making the mess. But really what I'm most interested in is I really want to get you to a place where you can pursue endless opportunities, whatever it is you want to do in the world, because I'm going to guess here that what you want to do in the world is not dishes and laundry. And whatever that is, if you want to lose weight, if you want to start a business, if you want to adopt babies, if you want to go travel the world, I want you to be able to do that, because when you get really behind on this, and if this stuff is harder for you than most people, it really robs you of being able to go after the things that you really want in the world, because you spend so much time just trying to catch up. So sorry, that was that's what I really want though. I want the things for you that I'm not even going to teach you. It's what you do after this. So Hummus to Home Success, the investment is $97. We do have a payment plan available if you need it. And again, you do get bonuses. You get the Home Success bundle free with your purchase. So that's the Home Success Planner, the 15-minute project planner, the simple home management cheat sheet. We also have a budget cheat sheet and the Home Success Daily. You can get all of that in the bonuses section. We put those in the bonus section of the course. So when you get the course, they'll be right there in the bonuses for you. So I think they have a link for you. Noah's got a link for you. And you should also know that there's a 30-day money-back guarantee on every purchase of Hummus to Home Success. So it's 100% risk-free. There's no questions asked. You just let us know and we will refund you. At $97, even if you only complete one module, Hummus to Home Success is going to pay for itself in less than 1 month, because I teach you how to spend less without even trying. Again, believe it or not, this is actually a budgeting program. So the entire thing is a byproduct of the fact that this is going to help you budget and control your spending without even needing to. So if you choose to get that, you're going to click on the link. It's going to take you to this sales page. You're going to click on that link and you can enter your information. You can choose PayPal, Google Play, or a credit card. And then it's going to dump you immediately into the course curriculum. You don't have to start it right now if you don't want to. It tracks where you are right in Teachable. It's one of the reasons why I love Teachable. It's also going to email you your enrollment information, so you have that available at any time. So if you have any questions, I would love to answer them. And Jonah, I think, is coming back. Yes. Jonah.
Yes. Hello. Thank you so much, Rosemary.
You are very welcome. I get super jazzed about that and I talk too fast.
Oh, no, it's good. I love that aspect of budgeting taught through cleanliness and habit, because I think the two are often separated and it's really hard to tackle all these different aspects of your life at the same time. But even just thinking about it all in one element is very freeing. Even just I'm already thinking what I'm going to start doing differently.
Yeah.
But
It's cute.
for everyone watching, we are about to enter the Q&A section. Rosemary gave a very detailed description of her course, so I hope everyone knows clearly what's offered, and the link is both in the description and pinned to the top in the comments, and it will be sent to you with the replay in your email. So fret not, you have at least a week, but some of those offers I know go away after this week. If you want to start popping your questions into the comments or things you've learned, we already got a few coming in here. Why don't we dive in? Rosemary, I saw a good one here. What do you do if your teenage daughter doesn't want to join the wash what you wore yesterday plan? Coming from Teresa.
So this is actually a great. We go into this more in Hot Mess Home Success, but like I am a huge fan of training kids to do chores. The reason why I do that, one of the reasons why I'm a hot mess is because my mom, who's amazing, did everything for me, literally everything. So when I left the house, I didn't know how to do anything. But one of the things that you can do is you can give her a date that she has to do her own laundry, and that could be her day. And she's just going to wash a full load. You just need to, I would say, just capsule wardrobes or something like that to make sure she has enough clothes to get through it. And then also teaching natural consequences. So if she doesn't do her laundry on that day and she's got cheerleading practice and she doesn't have a clean uniform, like that really sucks. But natural consequences, make sure it's done for next week. That's kind of like a very harsh way of doing it. So if you have smaller kids, the easiest way to do it is just to train them how you want them to do it. So like kind of we're all in this house together. Everybody is part of like the cog in the wheel, and everybody has a part that they play. So like we've got my kids starting at the age of 6 and 7. One of them goes around each evening and gathers up all the clothes that everybody just took off. And then the other one gathers them all up in the morning like PJs and then just puts them directly into the washing machine. And when you teach them the system that you want, it makes it a lot easier. The other thing is that the way that we handle teenage daughters is the same way that we handle reluctant spouses, which is we do the system for them first, show them the success of it so that they like the results of it, and then we teach them how to be a part of the system. If you don't show the results first, then it's just like some other lame thing that moms decided to do, like, you know, that keto phase and like whatever else you're into. Versus if you show the success and the results first, they're like, I really want to do this. I really want to keep up with this. I like this.
So that's really interesting. Sorry, there's a lot of psychology going on there, so I have a bit of a follow-up. So you're both putting those natural consequences, like it's not mom's fault if it doesn't get done.
Right.
But you're also leading by example. So do you even have a guide of like how long do you lead by example before you start putting the onus on the kid to take responsibility for those natural consequences?
It really depends on the age of the kid. And like I said, we do the same thing. We see this a lot more with reluctant spouses than we see with kids. So for foundation, I always want people to never give that away. Like I don't want anyone else to be in charge of foundation because those things will crumble my house in a day if they don't get done. But everything else, you're basically training people how to be part of your system, right? So it's just like if you have a business, you're training new employees. It's kind of like that. So one is you need to get them motivated. You want them to see the rewards. You want them to be excited about it. And then after that, you need to give a lot of grace, because just like it took me 12 years to get my stuff together, if my husband forgets the trash in a day, I'm not going to be like, well, you're awful at life, like time for divorce. Like you have to be understanding that like this stuff doesn't come naturally to everybody, and we need to take time. So for an older kid, it depends on your parenting style, which we talk about how to train them in chores, but like for someone who's really big into natural consequences and more of a strict parenter, there's no problem with saying like, hey, this is a system. Let's get it done, do it. And if they don't do it, then they have the natural consequences. For young kids, we don't do that at like 6 and 8. I'm in charge of making sure it gets done. So I'm going to be like, hey, Michael, did the laundry get in? And if I check it and it didn't, and he says it did, then there's consequences for that. But really just having the system be successful and having them see it is usually enough. And then we do a lot of other things with reluctant spouses where there's parts of our system that we can do. You can actually do the entire system all yourself if your spouse is never going to be on board. And that's actually okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's ways that we have of compromising. We teach compromise for success rather than like evenness, right? So if you've got a spouse who's like, I'm never going to do X, Y, and Z, rather than trying to change who he is, change his personality, let's just accept it and work around it. And let's figure out what he is willing to do that you would like to get off your plate. And maybe in the end, you don't even care that he won't do X, Y, and Z. So we really try to take both people's personalities for who they are and try to find a way that everybody can be happy versus like, nope, it's got to be split 50-50 down the middle.
Yeah. I love both the empathetic approach and just that you're still taking responsibility for your own actions, so you're not driven mad if other people aren't helping you out.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We got another question coming in from Peggy. How do you deal with papers piling up? I'm sure I've seen that come up earlier in the presentation. That's a big question for people.
So we have a really unique way of handling paperwork, and that is that we don't. So our entire paperwork system is that everything that comes in is immediately, okay, so I'm going to try to we actually have a post on this that's detailed. If you email me after, I'll try to get it to you. But everything that comes in, so if it's coming in from the mailbox, I only get the mail when I've got time to sort it. When it comes in from the mailbox, 80 to 95% of it goes directly into the trash, right? So we use online bill pay and things like that. So I don't really care about the electric bill or things like that. For things that have like varied pay, like electric bill and gas pays, they usually have things where they can charge you the same amount every month, but it's averaged over a year. We do that, so I don't even care what the electric bill is. And then anything that is a biller that needs attention goes into what I call a bill box. So a bill box holds my easy budget binder, which is our budget binder. It holds checks, stamps, envelopes, and like a little tiny file sorter. So I just toss the things that need to be dealt with in there. Every week I do a budget meeting, but again, this is an advanced step, so don't get overwhelmed. Just go back to dishes, laundry, and schedule book if you are. It goes into the budget envelope, and then every week when I do my budget meeting, I can handle those things. I take notes directly on the documents. So like we do Liberty Health Share for health insurance or like a health share. And so I'll take notes directly on that if I'm fighting with insurance about something, and it goes right back in there. So every week that's getting attention. The goal for everything in your bill box is to immediately throw it out as soon as humanly possible. If it's something that just needs to go into your planner, I lay it on top of the planner. The next day when I enter stuff in my planner, I put that in there too, and then it goes into the trash. Every paperwork that comes into the house has an end goal of being into the trash as soon as humanly possible. For things that I need to keep long-term that don't really I don't know that I need it, but I might need it, like if you have rental properties and things like that, as soon as it comes in, I take a picture of it on my phone. I upload it. I actually take a picture of it on my phone right in the Evernote app, and then I trash it. The cool thing about Evernote is that I can search text in photos. So if I ever need it, I can just look up rental and it'll come up from like 10 years ago or whatever it is. again, so we don't keep any of it. Now, this is where it's a little controversial, but for kids' paperwork, if you've got a kid in elementary school, the amount of stuff they bring home is like insane. So we have a special drawer in the kitchen that mommy likes to look in when I miss them when they're at school. So all of that stuff goes into this drawer, and at the end of the year, but that's so now if you are very sentimental, or if your child is very sentimental, that may not work for you. So we have readers who have adapted this, where they take, like, the kid chooses 5 things and they upload it to their cloud photos or something. But for me, as someone whose mother kept every single drawing, writing, like, I am now the proud owner of all of this crap of 6-year-old me. I'm like, I do not want to gift my child with that. So we do take pictures of like really cool things, and they each have their own art binders. But for the most part, like, this goes in the trash.
Yeah, I have boxes of old homework that
Yeah.
somewhere you think it's going to be magical, but my parents aren't going to look at that.
And I don't want to throw it out because she's kept it for like 40 years. Like, now I feel
Right.
awful being
Right.
like, thank you.
Right. But then you're going to have to do, yeah.
Right. I'll give it
Uh,
to my children.
I love that the drawer mommy likes to look at. That's awesome. I think we got time for one more question here. We got one from Mary. How do you break the habit of not completing my decluttering project or household task?
So there's a couple ways we can do this. It's really going to depend on your personality. We deal with this more in the course, but like, one of the tricks, setting a timer. I know it sounds dumb. Setting a timer helps a lot. If you are motivated by like trashy reality TV or watching a movie that you love while you do it, that's fine. There are people there. We have students that every single home management thing they do, they've got that TV playing, on Hulu on their phone or whatever while they do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Go for it. One of the other things that you can do is, if you find that you can get started, but you don't like get finished, just cut the time. 15 minutes is a long-term goal. If when you start, you just need 2 minutes or 1 minute, or like, I'm going to open up the drawer and take out 5 items, that's fine. The whole idea is that every week you bring in a certain amount of items into your home, right? And every week, if you're not also removing a certain amount of items into your home, of course it's going to get trashed. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you just keep putting things in and things never go out, like, it's kind of natural. So rather than spending all of our time untrashing closets and organizing these things and going out and spending $300 at Target for bins, let's just focus on removing things from the home, where organization kind of happens naturally. And then once you've done with that, go to Target and buy all the bins you want, because now you've got the money to spend on those bins. And now that space is actually going to stay clean. So it's like doing things in the right order, where you're going to have a Pinterest pretty house one day. I promise you that. But like, let's do it in the right order so that it's actually sustainable, because otherwise we're just going to stay in the trash to untrash cycle for the next like 60 years, which is not fun.
Love it. Yeah. Well, I love the idea too. I know I tend to tackle things where it's like, let's do all of this today, and you clearly outline that's like not
Sustainable.
feasible. Yeah.
That's actually the reason why most people struggle with this, is because, that's in our brain. Like, well, I have to get serious. This is it. Like, I've hit rock bottom. Now I'm going to change. And like, it's surprisingly hard to get people to try this like bare minimum effort on a consistent basis. But once they do, they're like, this is amazing. Like, I can't believe this. And it's because it works, and because it's so easy. Like, it's not sitting on the couch eating Cheetos easy, but it's way easier than anything else you've tried, and it actually works. It's really easy to get hooked on.
Well, and it's a positive feedback loop, right? Where you get stuff done, rather than like, I know if I don't finish a decluttering project, then I feel like a failure, and it's just
Right.
on and on and on.
Yeah.
I love that. We are coming up on time here, so that's all the questions we can answer. But thank you so much, Rosemary. I've got a list already of ways I'm going to tackle this, and going to look at the course. For everyone watching, just to repeat, the course is available in the comments. It's in the description. It will be emailed to you. Please shout out in the comments if you learned something today, if you were excited. I know we already got a lot of people saying, thank you. This is so helpful and so descriptive. Um, Rosemary, before we kind of log off, did you have any last little parting comments to our viewers just in this journey and getting more organized and budgeting that you can leave us with?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like we were just talking about, like, just get out of your own way. Like, if you do nothing else, just do the dishes, laundry, and schedule book, and let those results like show you the way that this is different.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And once again, everyone watching, please shout thank you to Rosemary for her time, and have a wonderful day. If you like this video, please like the video and subscribe to the Discover platform. We hope to have Rosemary back again and bring more creators like this to the platform. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, guys.